Hello, you are welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Biafran's Daily. My brothers and sisters, a lot is happening. There's this breaking news that I want to share with you people that is happening in the north. A woman impregnated twice by her twin brother insisted on marrying him. Said he's too good in bed. If it were possible to turn back the hands of the clock, Amos Kunde will be the happiest man on earth. He will do anything to reverse an adventure that culminated in getting his twin sister Juliana pregnant twice, culminating in her being delivered of 2 babies for her twin brother. The 29-year-old native of Guman local government area, Nasarawa state, is in dilemma as he says he is thoroughly embarrassed by the development, while his twin sister and mother of his 2 children insists that she is married to him and has reached her destination as far as marriage is concerned. This one a serious matter. Born to the family of late Patrick Kunde and his wife Takwase, the family has settled in our local government of Nasarawa state as farmers until the couple and other relations were killed during the farmers' headers crisis in Nasarawa state in 2013. The twins, however, survived the attacks because some merciful ones amongst the herdsmen who attacked their community decided to spare their lives. Orphaned and without any formal education, Amos and Juliana adopted farming as their source of livelihood. But because of the unsafe nature of Awe area at that time, they decided to relocate to Doku, a village in Doma local government area of Nasarawa state, sharing border with Benue state. For 3 successive farming seasons, Amos and his twin sister were blessed with good harvests, prompting their decision to stay put in the area. Although Juliana was deflowered by a boyfriend of hers, who incidentally was also killed during the herdsmen attack in Doma, she found solace in brotherly love exhibited by Amos until the devil visited and they started an amorous relationship until Juliana became pregnant sometime in 2015. The twins, however, tried to keep secret and made several attempts to abort the pregnancy without success, and Juliana was eventually delivered of a baby girl. The widely held belief in the community, however, was that Juliana was impregnated by someone other than her brother, particularly as she had told some members of the community who cared to know that the man that got her pregnant had run away. Since the twins are not Doku indigenes, not many people in the area were really interested in whatever they choose to do with their lives. But curiosity was provoked in the village last year as Juliana took in again and came up with the same story as the first pregnancy. As the 2021 farming season approached in April, they took advantage of the farmers' headers crisis in Doma, which claims the lives of more than 50 farmers and displaced virtually the entire inhabitants by moving to Nsegba village in Kiana local government area of Nasarawa state to continue their farming activities. Because Nsegba was a new environment and life was disrupted in many settlements around Nasarawa state. During the April-May crisis, many of the people in their new settlements concluded that they were husband and wife. They settled down in the community, and Juliana was delivered of a baby boy about 3 months ago. The bubble, however, burst last week when Amos decided to take a legitimate wife. From the proceeds of the farm produce they had both labored for, he met a stiff resistance from Juliana, the nursing mother, who demanded to know her fate and those of her 2 kids when the new wives arrived. Unfortunately, Amos responded to her proposal. Unfortunately, Amos' response to her proposal was far from encouraging, as he allegedly told her that it was high time she began to look for a husband, added that he was done with her and needed a legitimate wife. Asked that her twin brother could seek to dump her for another woman after sleeping with her to produce 2 kids, Juliana resolved not to have any of her brother's antics. Both of them are now in a fix as to what to do about the ugly development. Since Juliana decided to spill the beans, our correspondent who got wind of the development visited the new settlement in Ugba, a border community with Benue State, to inquire into the scandal. Upon his arrival in the village, the twin couple was seated under a mango tree alongside their firstborn baby after an intense quarrel. How it all started, first to speak with our correspondent was Juliana, who did a summary of all that had transpired between them since they started an amorous relationship. She said it started as a joke on the farm, which later resulted in both of them having sex at home later that night. She said, then we were stranded in Doma because Awe was no longer safe for us as orphans, who are purely farmers, relocating from Awe after losing our parents and relatives to herdsmen. We were in the farm arranging harvested yams when his trousers tore as he made to sit down to eat, and I saw his big and long manhood and smiled. When he noticed that I smiled, he asked, "Why?" I told him that his manhood could kill someone's daughter. We both laughed over it. That same day, after we returned home from the farm, I was trying to turn food in our local kitchen in the night, and he entered unnoticed to check whether all his chickens are rested. I was not sitting well and did not have any underwear as I was turning the food. I only put on a wrapper. Then he saw my private parts because he was flashing a torch to check his chickens in the kitchen. Then he saw my pussy and shouted in appreciation of how big it was. I told him that we are twins and that we born to have the same features. Maybe we took that from our late parents. The incident later resulted in sex in our detached house. He came to my room in the night asking for a razor blade. From there, I agreed to his request for a sex test, since both of us appreciated each other's private organs. Though it was also a bit to satisfy our sexual urge, since both of us had not had sex after we located amidst herdsmen crisis and lost contact with our loved ones. But somehow, it became regular as both of us enjoyed it. Juliana said from that point, the affair continued and they both agreed to keep it secret. Within the period, she said, they had 2 kids together. Wonderful. She also said, he never promised to marry another woman. What he told me was that we would make efforts to send them to school, since both of us never went to school. That we were tired of moving from one settlement to another, since sex was secretly involved in the relationship, and he became my husband, all from the blue. Then he suddenly came up with a plan to take a wife. I asked him about my fate and those of our 2 kids, since the new wife would come in and may not accept the development on ground. I told him that the 2 kids, it is as good as we are married, and there is no need bringing in somebody who would frustrate the kids. He told me and the kids to find our level. I won't accept that. He lured me into this mess, and he can't abandon me now. His insistence on marrying a new wife without convincing me brought about the current crisis. Juliana also told our correspondent during a one-on-one conversation that she could not afford to share Amos with any woman because he is too good in bed. She said, he is quite good in bed. My former boyfriend, I mean the one who deflowered me in Awe, but was killed by herdsmen, is not anywhere near Amos in bed. He was quite gentle when we started, but what attracted me to him was the size and length of his dick. But as we move on much more regularly, I realized he was an expert in bed, and that really speeded up and tightened the relationship. He would throw me onto the bed, rip my clothes off, and start the game in a very crazy way. My brothers, before I continue reading this, it's quite lengthy. Before I continue reading this news, I would like you guys to please take out a minute and subscribe to this channel, click like, and also share. Thank you. He would throw me onto the bed, rip my clothes off, and start the game in a very crazy way while slapping my boots. He does it well and straight, and did all the other things to my satisfaction, that it made me forget that we are brothers and sisters. It really gets me exhausted each time we play game. So I really felt bad and sad that someone else would share such with me. It's giving me a headache. She said she never thought that she could get pregnant when they started. But when pregnancy came and I told him about it, we made fruitless effort to abort it, to no avail. That was when we hatched this plan to keep it secret. And moving from one village to another due to herdsmen attack helped the secret a great deal. That also took us far into the relationship. Now, let's hear from Amos, what Amos has to say in his defense. How my sister seduced me. Amos, who reluctantly spoke with our correspondent, said his sister was the one that seduced him by always exposing herself while they worked together on the farm and whenever she was preparing food in the kitchen at home. He said, she knows that I always check on my chickens at night. So she would sit half naked before me. At first it was embarrassing to me, but later I discovered that her actions were deliberate since she saw my private organ on the farm. I noticed that her actions were an open invitation, and as a man, the devil visited me that fateful night when I needed a razor blade from her, and the temptation came, leading to something else. We continued from that point with the result of 2 kids. My major reason for deciding to get married is for the woman to help me on the farm, since she is nursing a baby. I did not mean to dump her, but she refused. Secondly, I did not understand how I could marry my own blood sister. It is a taboo and an abomination in the land. Though the thought came late, but I wanted to correct it, and she is raising genuine issues about her future and the kids. But I thought she could get married and leave the kids with me while I remain with my wife, who will take care of them because it's a taboo. The kids may not survive in the future. That is what a friend told me. I will need to correct it now. I regret what happened and the shame my conduct from day one has brought to me and her, our late parents and our relations. We never bargained for this when our parents and relations were murdered in cold blood by herdsmen. Amos insisted that nothing will stop him from taking a new wife because he is reliably told that the children he is having with his blood sister may not survive. It is a taboo and abomination in the land. They may one day die mischievously. That is my fear. That is why I want to take a wife, but she does not want to understand. And my own views, he added. I feel my listeners you can see that this news I just read, there's some things that you can take away from it. Brothers and sisters on holy relationship. As odd as it must sound, it's still happening in our time. If you have a wife, you have a fiance, and the closeness with the brother is suspicious, my brother, don't doubt it. Don't even doubt it. If the closeness with him and the brother, the way they are behaving, always kissing and hugging, something else might be going on that you don't know. Because in this generation, a lot of things are happening. Though these people's what's really happened to these guys, to this Amos and his sister, Boko Haram also happened to them. Also Buhari happened to them. You know, when we were complaining, when we keep shouting about the killing in the north, the killing going on in the north, the killing going on in the south, the killing going on in the east, so people think we are making the news up. Now you can see the ripple effect. Though it is not an excuse for you to go and commit this kind of abomination, but the truth is that it's happening, and we all have to be careful. From child, you need to start training your children how to be conscious of that. You need to start giving your children sex education. From childhood, you need to start separating your male from your female children. Very important. So thank you. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you for listening to the news.